Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Samuel, or Shamuel. Back at you with another quick edifying video. Right, today's topic is going to be called During Tribulation and Adversity. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi, the Hamashiach. Right, in the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, from Tahar on down, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called During Tribulation and Adversity. We all, have, experienced, tribulation and adversity, especially, in our lives. And if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, right, or Israelite, you have experienced this of some sort, So I just want to get a definition. Tribulation, I'll probably get adversity too. And then I'm going to go over a couple of scriptures, Lord's will. This is edifying, for the body, to feed the sheep. So with that, let's get into it. Okay. So just looked up tribulation, and it says a cause of great trouble or suffering, right? It says a state of great trouble or suffering, right? This is the tribulation definition, right? Let's get adversity. So adversity, the definition says difficulties or misfortunes, right? And when we think about that, right, it says difficulties or misfortunes. And Salaki just kind of just through the Spirit. When we think about that, a lot of our people don't consider why or what's going on, right? But we got to go, to the source, sometimes and this is, Deuteronomy, 28 and verse number 15, right? And it says, these are the consequences of disobedience, right? And, matter of fact, just to give you some context, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 1:1, right? And it says, it's Deuteronomy 1:1, right? It says, these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel, right? The so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you are the Israelites. It said, these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban and Hazroth and Disabab, right? So these are the words that Moses was going to speak to the children of Israel, right? It says Moses recounts Yahawashi promise to Israel at Horeb, right? So now let's get into it, right? So these are what Moses has spake to the children of Israel concerning what the Most High, told him to speak, right? And this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahawashi thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, right? So, the words that Moses spake unto the children of Israel, right, were coming directly from Yahawashi, right? And these are basically the stipulations, because if you go up in verse 1, it says the blessings of obedience. So if we obeyed, guess what? These are the blessings, right? But when you go down to verse number 15, these are the consequences of disobeying. So if we obeyed, there's the blessings. If we disobeyed, these are the consequences. And these consequences are called curses, right? And it says these curses shall come upon thee, right? And when you go through here, from 15 all the way down to 68, right? You have cursed shall thou be in the city, cursed shall thou be in the field, right? These are curses that are upon us. These are Adversity, right? What did adversity say? Salakia. Salakia. I'll just go back. Yep, Salakia. So it says adversity. It says difficulties or misfortunes, hardships, distress, disaster, trouble, difficulty, misadventure, right? That's what adversity is, right? So when you go to these curses, right? When you go to Deuteronomy 28, right? It says, "Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field," right? These are curses that are upon us, right? And when you go down, right, and you read these, right, it says, "And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron," right? When you think about that, right, when you're in a prison, right, you are shacked, with got the iron bars, right? You got the metal over the head, over, under your feet, right? These are the curses, right? And we see our people, lead the way in incarceration, When you talk about the city, you go to our part of the city, right? When you look up the definition of the ghetto, is where the Jews dwell, and, we are the Jews, you know, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, right? But Israel as a whole, they're all, cursed in the city and cursed in the field, right? These are adversities. These are misfortunes. These are tribulations. These are things that's going on, right? When we see our people walking the streets, talking to themselves, right? You go to Deuteronomy 28 and 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, right? People look at us like, man, what's wrong with these people, man? You know what I'm saying? You can go down to, you can, like I said, you can go all down here and see the afflictions and the things that are that hamper us and cause that adversity and tribulation on us, So we understand that, Salakia. So, what I want to do is just go over some scriptures. Like I say, Lord's willing, this will be edifying, So let's get into it, right? Let's go to, matter of fact, yeah, let's get into this. Let's go to this. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse number 17. And it reads, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and external weight of glory." So, right, so we got to understand that, through these afflictions and these tribulations that we go through, right, guess what? What's about to come, our salvation, our kingdom, that is far more glorious than the affliction that we're going through. Even our hardest affliction, right? Guess what? It's all going to be worthwhile in the end, and we got to keep that hope and that faith and that strength, to keep enduring, Yahawah Shai's will. Okay. Let's get this. Let's go to the book of Romans, right? Chapter 8 and verse number 18. And I seen Elder Apostle Gabar, go over one of adversity, and I liked some of the scriptures that he brought out. So I'm going to bring out some of the same, but I'm going to, have a few of my own too, to kind of land me on what he did. Cause I thought that was a good lesson, and it needs to continue to be brought out, because our people are afflicted. Our people are, are being oppressed, Matter of fact, before I get that, let's get that right. Ecclesiastes, man, I haven't pulled it in a long time. Let me see. Salakia, I think it's verse 7. Con. This is called like Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Right? So, if you are living in this society, man, and, you're not just angry at just how your life is and how your people's life is going, right? The scriptures say that, you doing that, you're wise, right? Because you understand that there's something going on, It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, right? Because you understand, man, why am I going through this, right? What is going on? It says, and a gift destroyeth the heart, right? Because that's what your adversary tries to do, is they try to soothe you with gifts to keep you in that oppressed state, right? But a wise man is wise to that. And he's hip to that. Nah, man, that's not gonna appease me. Give me that now. I don't want that, right? I want my freedom, I want my liberty, right? In this captivity, And being in this captivity, we gotta understand that, we are in a condition, then and ultimately this is what Yahawashi, gave unto us, right? This is Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. So we are yet today in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from Yahawashi, our power. Right? So we are here, right? And, a lot of us here in Babylon, we're here in Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, mystery of Babylon, America, whatever you want to call it, right? And we're here in captivity yet this day, right? Because for a curse, right? And we just went through, and looked at some of the curses, right? Because of our forefathers, right? So we are going through these afflictions, we're going through these tribulations and these adversities, ultimately, because of our forefathers. And when you had the ear to hear, we know through regeneration or reincarnation that we were our forefathers, so we were the ones who were going off. We were the ones who were doing all these different things, right? What does it say? In the book of Daniel, right? This is Daniel chapter 9 and verse 11. It says, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they may not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. Right? So ultimately we know that, what we're going through is because ultimately we all sinned, And the scriptures tell you, if you say you have not sinned, then you are a liar and the truth is not in you. So we ultimately, we know that we all have fallen short of the glory, right? The scriptures say that we're like filthy rags, but we got to understand that, and once we understand that, in our conditions and our, it's like you've been, sentenced, to time, some of us times, other punishments, right? What does that say? Salaki, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I want to get this real quick, because we, have forsaken, Yahawashi outside, that we have, gone through all these tribulations and adversities, right? So we got to understand that, and Salaki is taking forever in a day. But, and that's the thing, like I was just reading in 2 Corinthians, right? It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and an eternal weight. So we got to understand that, right? That we just understand, the things that we're going through on this side, right? That we just got to understand that we make it through this, and guess what? Either it's going to be much more greater glory, man, right? This is First Ezra chapter 8 and verse number 24, and it says, and whosoever shall transgress the law of thy power, or the most high power, and of the king, shall be punished diligently, whether it be by death, or other punishment by penalty of money or by imprisonment, right? When you think about it, we, in the reincarnation, of course, we're all, put to death, you know, money, right? Some of us have to, pay taxes, pay child support, whatever it may be, you get garnished for your wages, and some of us imprisonment, right? And we all are, like I said, Baruch 3:8, but behold, we are yet to stay in our captivity. We are imprisoned in Babylon, right now, just as in the old, but, some of us are even imprisoned in the prison, but these are all, the tribulations and adversities that we face here in Babylon, right, as Israelites, So we got to understand that, okay? So I just want to kind of bring that point out. And then we can let's go back to the lesson, Salakia. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse number 18. Oh, Salakia, that's Daniel, Salakia. Romans chapter 8 and verse number 18, and it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us," right? So we just got to understand that. We got to, we understand, that we're in our tribulation, we're in our adversity, but we got to be able to look through that and look unto the glory of which is going to be to come. We got to ask Yahawashi to give us the strength to endure, and give us the patience to endure, right? Our tribulation, right? Our time, right? In this captivity, and that we may be able to, come out on the other side, right? And we got to be able to look, and have that faith to look beyond, where we're at and what our conditions are at, because the glory of it is going to be way better than our affliction that we're facing now, Let's get this. This is 1 Peter, right, chapter 4 and verse number 12, and it says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you," right? It says, so it says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you," So don't think it, of what you're going through. Oh man, nobody knows hey, the scriptures you read in Deuteronomy 20 tells you about the curses. It tells you about the things, the afflictions, and the things that are going to be upon the people, the children of Israel, for our disobedience, right? So when you're going through this stuff, man, you got to understand that you're not the only one going through it. Right, there are others, right? But it says, "But rejoice in so much as ye are partakers of Christ or Hamashiach's suffering," right? "That when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy," right? So, in your time of affliction, and it's a hard thing to do, when you're in your time of adversity and tribulation, to think upon that. But we gotta use these scriptures, for our learning, and understand that, that Hamashiach Yahawashi suffered, right? That he suffered, and he suffered, for us, that we may have grace, we may have mercy, and the Lord's will that we may be saved, but he suffered, right? So if he suffered, what more us, And like I say, it's a hard thing it's easy to say it, but when it's going on, we have to make sure that we ask the Lord to help us through it, to help us, to maintain, but it says that ye may be also glad with exceeding joy, and you see how some of the disciples, man, right, when they was put to death, how they looked at it as joyful, right, to suffer, as Yahawashi Hamashiach did, and how to be able to look past, like Stephen, Stephen was looking into the heavens and seeing Yahawashi sitting on, standing on the right hand of the Heavenly Father Yahawah, while he was being stoned. He wasn't even focused through his tribulation. He was focusing on Yahawah Shai. He was Matthew 6:33. He was seeking ye first the kingdom, That's what he had his mind and his soul on, Let's get this, right? This is the book of Micah, right? Chapter 7 and verse number 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of Yahawah Shai because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light and I shall behold his righteousness. Right? So just think about, as a child and you got punished and you got whooped, because you did something wrong, But in the end, your parents, they loved you and they want you to do better, They want you to do better and they want you to do, to do right, So they, those whoopings are used to kind of steer you to not do those things, So sometimes it's too, you got to look at, hey, what am I? Okay, I need to focus myself, and get myself back on the right track, But it says, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Sometimes it's that get right, Sometimes in whoopings, when you was younger, it used to get you right to get you to stray away from, following evil, Let's get this. This is Salakia, 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse number 10. It says, and this is Paul, writing to Timothy. It says, but thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, his long suffering, charity, and patience. It says persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all Yahawah Shai delivered me. It says, yea, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahawashi shall suffer persecution. So, and how Paul, Paul was stoned. Paul was in a shipwreck. Paul was in prison. Paul went through a whole lot of afflictions and adversity and tribulation, but yet he endured, right? And he stayed the course, he stayed the course, with long suffering, with charity and patience and faith. He had that faith, man, to keep going, and you remember that, when Paul was Saul, he was persecuting the church. He was afflicting the church. He was causing adversity and tribulation to the church, right? Until Yahawashi visited him and told him, why, does he kick against the pricks? Just paraphrasing, And guess what? Saul turned to Paul, followed in the steps of Yahawashi, So, Paul, definitely, is an example of going through it, And let's get this. This is the book of Hebrews, right? Chapter 12. And, this is one that we always go through, right? I'm going to start at verse number 5. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5, it says, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahawah Shai, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Right? So you can't faint and fall out like little children do, when they about to get whooped or they get whooped and then, you see them, they fall out. No. Hey, when you get chastened or reprimanded by Yahawah Shai, you can faint not. You shouldn't faint. It says, for whom Yahawashi loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Right? It says, if ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For whom the son, for what son is he whom the father chasteneth not? Right? So if he doesn't, correct you and whoop you and make you go through some stuff, right? It says, he does that to those that he loves, so we got to understand that. It says, but if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons, and that's why we know that we've all, gone through these afflictions, as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or the Israelites. We've all gone through these afflictions. We've all been chastised, Now, some of us, will take it and, with joy or, with correction. And then some of us, continue to be, will continue to be rebellious, So, but it's all, for the love of the Most High, God, that's all I want on that, Salakia. All right, let's go back to 2 Timothy. Okay. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse number 12. And it says, if we suffer, we shall reign with him. Right? And it's talking about reign with him, with Yahawashi. Right? So if we suffer, if we go through our afflictions, if we, we have to go through these things, it says, if we suffer, we shall reign with him. But if we deny him, he will also deny us, So that's the thing, because some people will get whooped and will turn all the way. Oh man, I'm going back into the world and do, you know what I mean? You need not do that. If you get whooped, count it joy and glory and keep enduring, right? Keep enduring and humble yourself, right? And ask for grace and mercy from Yahawashi to help you through these adversities and these tribulations, that you may be able to reign with Yahawashi, Let's get this. Let's go to the book of Acts. The book of Acts, chapter 14 and verse number 22. And it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High, right? And that's what we got to understand and remember, that through much tribulation, we're going to enter into the kingdom of the Most High, right? For our everlasting kingdom. We're going to have to go through this. We're going to have to go through these adversities. We're going to have to go through these tribulations, But we got to keep our faith and our trust in Yahawashi, because he knows better. He knows better than what we need, right? And the thing about it is how can we be righteous judges if we don't go through stuff, and understand, when we go through these things, the repercussions or whatever it may be, to understand, So when you are a judge, you have understanding of the situation of what's going on, right? But it says through much tribulation. Let me read it again. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, right? Continue believing, man. It says, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High, right? We got to keep that in our mind and keep that in our head, Tuck that back away so, when we're going through stuff, man, let's get this, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 and verse number 14. And it says, in the day, right? And this we got to remember too. In the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider that the Most High also have set the one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. Right? And what you got to understand is we know that there are ups and downs in this thing. So when you're going through something, you're going through tribulations, then guess what? There's going to be joy right on the other side, you know? And it may take some time, you might have a nice streak of joy, and then guess what? Tribulation cometh, you know? But if you have that understanding of what's going on, you can kind of fare off better. Like, okay, it's my tribulation time, but I know, you got to have that optimism. Hey, I know, joy is coming. Joy is coming soon. Keep that mindset. Though I'm going through affliction, Yahawashi have mercy upon me. So we got to understand that, right? And even in our day of prosperity, just how we give the Most High His honor and glory is the same way when we go through our tribulation, right? Give Him His honor and His glory. Let's get this. Let's go to Salakia. I want 1 Corinthians, right? 10 and verse number 13. It says, 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 13, it says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. Right? So, we kind of read about that, earlier. It says, beloved, when it was at 1 Peter 4 and 12, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Right? So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. And it says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But if the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation, right, or that tribulation or adversity, also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Right? So you got to understand that too. When your time of adversity and tribulation comes, right, and that temptation, that guess what? The Most High has a way for you to escape out of that. You can't just look at that one direction. There might be another direction that the Most High is trying to get you to see, so you can go out that. Say it's like a fire in a house, but the Most High has a window open for you to escape out of this. To escape out of that tribulation, So understand that, even though your afflictions and everything that you're going through, that guess what? It is common. The things that you're going through, right? Don't think that the thing that you're going through is nobody else has went through. People have gone through it, and that's why these scriptures, right, were written for our learning, so that we can understand that. Let's get this, right? This is one of my new favorite ones right here. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 34 and verse number 19. And it says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, right? So you're going to be going through it. You're going to be going through adversity. You're going to be going through tribulations. Right? But during these times, it says, many are the afflictions of the righteous. It says, but Yahawashi delivereth him out of them all. Right? So though you are going through, and you might be catching hell after hell after hell after hell after hell, right? Because hell is a condition, right? Or a state of, of a lower state, right? Or, whatever's going on, you're going through it. You keep going through it. But guess what? Yahawashi delivereth him out of them all. And that's when you have to have that faith. And your faith has to wax strong in those days. That the Lord will bring you through. And the Lord's gonna bring me through this. Call like Yahawashi. Get down on your knees and pray. Pray that the Lord have mercy upon you. Right? Let's stay in the book of Psalm. And let's go to 119. And let's see. Start at verse 49. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 119, and verse 49. It says, remember the word of thy servant, upon which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word hath quickened me. Right? So we got to remember these scriptures. We got to remember these words, right? This is our wisdom and our knowledge and our understanding, right? In our day of affliction, we have to remember these things. Okay, the things which were written aforetime were written for my learning, you know? Examine yourself, whether you be in the faith, during your affliction, call, when you are in trouble, call on the name of Yahawashi. I'm just paraphrasing stuff, but you got to be able to remember these things, in your affliction. But these scriptures are here to help you, right? They're here to help you and they're here to comfort you in your days of when you're going through it, Let's get this, right? Let's go to, what do I want? Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, right? Chapter 2 and verse number 1. Let's start at verse number 1, right? This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve Yahawashi, prepare thy soul for temptation. Right? You gotta prepare your soul for tribulations, adversities, and all types of craziness, right? It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Right? Don't be trying to get up out of here. Oh man, this is too much for me. I gotta get. No, man, you gotta endure. You just stick your feet down in the earth and endure. Right? It says, cleave unto him and depart not away. That thou mayest be increased at the last days. Right? Verse number 4 says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right? You're being right now tried as fire. Right? Through your tribulations, through your adversities, through your tribulations. You're being tried as gold is in the fire. Right? And we know that when the gold is in the fire, right, it purifies it. It purifies it and it gets it to its pure state, and that's what all these things that are come upon us, are helping us to be, man, right? So that we can be that pure gold, that refined, gold through the tribulations, adversities, that we face, right? It says, let me read that part again, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right? And that's what we got to understand. It says, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. So that's when you got to have your faith, man. Your faith is going to bring you through this stuff, man. Right? And you got to be able to endure. Okay? Let's see. Let's go to the book of John. This will be my last one. I'm going to close it out, Lord's will. This is John chapter 16 and verse number 33, right? And it reads, it says, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. Yahawashi is telling them, right? It says, in a world ye shall have tribulation. And you're gonna have misfortunes. You're gonna have adversities. You're gonna have just afflictions and things going on. It says, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world, right? And if he is who we look to, right, as our example, right, that's our hope for us to continue in this thing, man, right? So we gotta, understand, that we're gonna be going through it, but we gotta understand that there's a reason for these things, and we just gotta ask and pray Yahawashi to help us to endure and give us the faith. And we got to go to these scriptures to comfort us, to comfort us through these times, So Lord's will, I hope this has been edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham Mashiach Yahawashi, Bahasham Rawchaa Qadash. Peace and blessing to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, Almighty Shalom. Right, to the hopeful elect, man, stay strong, stay mighty, keep enduring, right? Keep praying for one another, right? And during your time of afflictions and during your time of tribulations, man, keep enduring and understand that you're being tried and you're being purified like fine precious gold, in these last days. So with that, shalom.